Leo Ellis, and did a talk on this last year. We were looking at how the media basically covered the Kennedy assassination and what you would have saw if you were basically watching television that afternoon. Well, this year we're going to take a little bit different slant of this and show you what it would have been like if you were in the city of Dallas that day. So it's kind of interesting because you'll hear some of the local staff that perhaps didn't get onto the network because they were obviously closer to the story. And you'll also hear, and if you guys are students of radio, it's kind of really weird to hear some of these stations basically freak out. Because you have to understand, radio news and things were not to the science that it is today. So there's not the kind of decorum that you would see. And we'll show that to you later. In fact, in some ways, it's almost irreverent what you're hearing on the air. So it's kind of interesting. So you'll hear that. We're going to start first with, as you know, the president came to Texas and was, I believe, in Austin, and then went to Fort Worth, and then on to Dallas. So we're going to pick it up in the morning, where he is in Fort Worth with a local station, WBAP. These tapes were found about 4 or 5 years ago in the basement of WBAP television. They had sat there ever since they were boxed up in 1963. And what you're hearing is transfers directly from the full-track masters that were recorded that day in Dallas. And it's kind of really strange because you're used to hearing bad quality air checks, and these things just come off like you're there today. So it's kind of interesting. And I'll just do the quick plug up front before I forget. Everything that we play today is available at the table. There's a lady over there who can tell you about it, or afterward you can talk with me. We can tell you if you're interested in any of this kind of thing, and take one of our cards. And see, that's the only shameless plug I do, and we can take it from there. So we're going to hear Morning Edition with a guy named Norwood McClendon. And you have to put this in perspective because their competitor, KLIF, had the famous Gordon McClendon, if you're in the radio. So this was their kind of way of muddying that water and getting some prestige for their radio station. Just a sign. So let's tune in. It's now 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're listening to Fort Worth Station, WBAP. We do have one.
IF70 Radio in Fort Worth, WBAP.
Here is Morning Edition, complete news and weather coverage combining authoritative sources of WBAP and ABC. Brought to you by your 30 conveniently located supermarkets, where your dollar buys more. And with every purchase, you get valuable Scotty savings stamps. Now, Morning Edition, Section 1.
Good morning, everyone. This is Norwood McClendon reporting. Fort Worth temperature 56 degrees, Dallas 55. Skies are cloudy, and very light rain is reported in both cities. President and Mrs. Kennedy arrived in Fort Worth from Houston late last night to an enthusiastic reception from huge crowds and spent the night in Suite 850 at Hotel Texas downtown. The president scheduled 2 speeches in Fort Worth this morning. The first to the general public, the other at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast. For WBAP News, here is Jack Brown reporting from Hotel Texas.
There's a light rain falling in downtown Fort Worth, and that may cut down on the size of the turnout for President Kennedy's parking lot speech. Mr. Kennedy is scheduled to make a short public talk, maybe 10 minutes, at 8:50 this morning. Indications are he will make the speech even if it's raining. It's still not known whether or not the First Lady will accompany the President to the parking lot, which is just south of the hotel. Mr. Kennedy will speak from a platform mounted on a truck. The hotel's marquee says, "Welcome, Mr. President," and under it stand 6 young co-eds from Carter Riverside High School. The girls got up at 3:30 this morning and arrived at the hotel at 5. They've been standing there ever since. A crowd already is gathered outside the hotel's grand ballroom, maybe 200 persons, and they seem to be concerned about finding seats, or at least finding some good ones. The President's ballroom speech, which was an early sellout, will begin shortly after 9. We don't know what he'll talk about. From here, Mr. Kennedy will motorcade to Carswell Air Force Base, where Air Force One will be waiting to fly him to Dallas Love Field. 6,000 persons greeted Mr. Kennedy when he arrived at Carswell last night. Hundreds more lined the route to the Texas Hotel, and about 4,000 persons were waiting for him at the hotel. All were cheering. The President said his reception was wonderful. This is Jack Brown reporting from the Grand Ballroom at the Texas Hotel.
For President Kennedy's public speech this morning, the public is asked to enter the parking lot from 9th Street. No cars will be permitted on the lot itself. Police Chief Hightower says that 8th Street will be blocked off between Main and Commerce, and that those streets plus 9th will be stopped to traffic if the crowd overflows into them. The President is expected to speak for about 10 minutes at the outside gathering and about twice as long at the breakfast. This is Norwood McClendon reporting, Morning Edition, Section 1.
See Buddy's Cartoon Show on WBAP TV Saturdays at 1 p.m. live and in color, featuring speed cartoonist Big Jim Hester and his sidekick cousin Grady Hull. Shop Buddies today.
Best supermarket in town.
Say, don't forget Southwest weather in Section 2.
Anyway, that's how we were beginning the day when you got up in Dallas. You might also note a little David Brinkley, the one reporter. So again, it's kind of new to news in the town, so all you can do is imitate what you've heard. We're going to go down to the first remote report. Now here's a guy that's right out of Texas, what they call a Lakeside report. And you might notice that we'll call this a 570 Lakeside report because of the frequency of the radio station. We'll hear one that's an 820 Lakeside report. We'll talk about that in a minute, why here was a station that vacillated between two frequencies during the day, which is kind of a radio anomaly. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But first here is at the scene of the breakfast, and this is Frank Mills from WBAP.
It's 19 minutes to 8, and from Hotel Texas, here is Frank Mills with a 570 Lakeside report.
Good morning, everyone. For a few hours that began about 8 hours ago, Fort Worth is the capital of the United States of America. It's a singular occasion, for at the same time we have with us today the President and the Vice President of the United States. In the dark hours before dawn, the sky was lighted by the golden glow of the outline of the skyline of the city of Fort Worth, reflecting the warmth of the welcome for the President and the First Lady. Here in the hotel, there's an air of expectancy, almost a festival, party-like air. Almost all of the 2,000 guests have been seated. Most all of them already have been served. It has been going off just like clockwork this morning. We are located some 40 or 50 feet from the kitchen, through which the President and his party will make their entrance. Why the kitchen? Well, security reasons for one thing. Another is most a direct route from the elevators to the ballroom and thence to the speaker's table. We arrived at 6 o'clock this morning, and already people were here, gathering in the dark and in the rain from every vantage point that they, from where they could find a dry spot at least, to view the President. So the people are still assembling outside. For the public appearance, the President will make in the parking lot directly across the street from the specially erected platform there. Because regardless of political persuasion, people are gathering for a real-life glimpse of the President of the United States. As one man said to me this morning as I walked among the crowd out there, after all, he is the President, and I got here early so I could get close enough to perhaps say, good morning, Mr. President, and welcome to Fort Worth. At various times during the morning, we will be interrupting the regular program schedule to bring you feature reports here from the Grand Ballroom, and also, of course, as the festivities, if we can call them that, and this is the air about the place, as they begin at approximately 8:45. That is the time the President is scheduled to address the people outside. We will bring you in its entirety the program here from the Grand Ballroom. So for the time being, this is Frank Mills returning you now to the studio.
Now, we talked about the frequency switch. Now, this would happen every 2 hours. So if you wanted to listen to WBAP or WFA, every 2 hours you had to get up and change